How you doing? Good. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning. Another day, another life, yeah? Isn't that what Fresh would say? Another day, another life. Off to lunch with a friend. Where you going to eat? What's the spot? What are we having? Come on, you know me. I'm a fatty. I gotta know. Oh, not my stuff. You can keep the Vietnamese food. Not my thing. But good for you. Enjoy. Also, Hope, thank you so much. You are doing a tremendous job. My mother even said it. She said, "Who is that Hope person? She did a great job of telling people to subscribe and like." So, for what that's worth, doing a great job. Thank you. Enjoy your Vietnamese food. Good morning, Carson. Good morning, Mikey. I'll let her know you said so. She's a tough cookie. We today are in a non-Bigfoot area. Instead, we are in a Oh, I was muted because my mother was calling me. So today we're in a place more known for its paranormal activity than its Bigfoot activity. Although there was a sighting about 10 miles from here about 2 or 3 years ago, I believe it was. So as you all know, it's possible. These buggers can be anywhere. Thank you, Glenn. You have a great New Year as well. Hey, Mike, good evening. Good evening. Or good morning here. Good afternoon. It's noon here. Am I still muted? Shouldn't be. I'm good now. Okay, good. All right. Oh, that's nice. Somebody left their dog poop bag right in the middle of a trail. Look at that. Super cool. Super duper cool. If I wasn't walking this place for a while, I'd pick it up, but I'm not holding a bag of dog poop for the next 40 minutes or so. So if it's there when I go back, I'll take it with me and throw it out. Throw it out, man. What a boombo glad, man. Why you be leaving your dog crap everywhere? It's about 50 degrees today. It's beautiful, actually. It's beautiful, Kathleen. I've been scouting that place that I mentioned to you the other day. That place called Gunjiwamp. If you have a minute, look it up. Gungy Gungywamp in Groton, Groton, Connecticut. It's baffled archaeologists for years and years. They're not sure exactly what it is, why things were built the way they were built, and it's got a whole lot of history of paranormal activity going on there. And I really want to go. It's on private land, so it requires a bit of a clandestine mission. Private land, but it's not like someone's backyard or house. It's in the woods. It's literally like in the woods, off a road, randomly. Someone just bought the land. No one lives near it, but you'd have to park your car up in the adjacent neighborhood and walk down. I don't really want to get arrested for trespassing, but for the sake of the channel, I'll do it for you guys. For the sake of the channel, I'll take a misdemeanor trespassing charge. I will not do anything felonious, though. Felonies are out of the question. Hello, Bigfoot and more. How are you? Peter, what's up? Peter says he's down. Oh, good. I'm glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. You guys got plans for New Year's? I don't. My dad's birthday is New Year's Eve. So I'll be going over to my parents' house, hanging out with them, having my favorite pasta that my mom makes. Pasta with spinach, garlic, and breadcrumbs. It's so simple and it's so amazing. It's one of my favorite meals ever. After that, I'll be going back to my brother's to hang out with his dog. And he's my favorite. He's the best. You'll get to meet him. Right, so what time is dinner? It's probably around 4 or 5, if I had to guess. My parents like to eat early, you know, old people stuff. Eat at 4, in bed by 7. No, I'm just kidding. My mom's probably watching right now and cursing me out. I love you, Mom. This is a little hairy. Good afternoon, Flat Rock. Staying in, Carson? Yeah, I don't blame you, man. New Year's, I'm 42, man. You know, I did New Year's Eve hardcore from the time I was a teenager until the time I was in my late 20s. And I just wore it out. Like, it's amateur hour. I don't party. I don't drink. I don't do any of that. So it's really just one of those things where it's like, I go, I watch people get drunk and act like idiots, and just get frustrated. And I'd rather be at home in my nice, safe, comfortable place. You know, some people give me shit because I'm a super homebody. I go out here and I do this. In the woods. But besides this, I stay in. You know, I go to the store and stuff. But I like to be home. When you've been homeless, you tend to have a totally different appreciation for just having a roof over your head and a safe place to be and hang out and watch TV, work on your computer, play video games, pet your animals. Yeah, alcohol is not my favorite. I never really was a drinker. You know, when I was younger, did the normal thing that young people do and go party on the weekend and drink it up. And I was always a really happy drunk. Well, that's a lie. 99% of the time I was a very happy drunk. I could not drink tequila or Red Bull and vodka. The upper downer thing just messed with my head. And I'd get like really miserable. Not angry, not violent, just miserable. Otherwise, I was the most like chipper, fun drinker you've ever known. Typical Irish wit, wiseassery. That was me. But, you know, it just gets old, man. I'm 42. I'm not young. I'm not old, but I'm not young. If I was to drink now, it would take me a week to recover. And I just don't need that in my life. Plus, my dad always told me, nothing good happens after midnight. And he's right. If you're out after midnight, unless it's because you're working third shift or second shift and you're leaving to come home or going into work, usually nothing good's going on out there. Hi, Sharon. How are you? Witching hour, 12 to 3, yeah. 3 a.m. really is like such a strange hour when it comes to paranormal and high strangeness. So many stories of strange things happening to people at 3 a.m. They're very close to it. I don't know why. Maybe because it's the deepest part of the night. I'm not sure, but it's definitely a weird hour. How's my ankle? My ankle hurts every day, Sharon, but I'm all right. What's up, Red Scout? How you doing, man? I'm well, brother. I'm well. Hope you're good too. Tired. I'm really tired today, man. I have the worst sleeping patterns. I'm up every day, generally around 4 a.m., 4:30. Sometimes I'll take a nap from like 9 to 11, and then I'm up from 11 to 2:30, 3 o'clock, go to bed for another hour, wake up at 4:30, and then I'm awake for the day. I gotta catch the drops online for my work, and sometimes it's in the middle of the night, and yeah. And you do it, and first few days of the week, you know, tired, but you're all right. And then at some point it catches up to you where you just feel so run down that, like, I'll pass out sitting up. I mean, you just crash. Your body just doesn't, it just says, like, you know, gives you a big middle finger, and it goes, yeah, you're going to sleep. Matter of fact, we're gonna put you out instantly. And all of a sudden you go from awake to boom, you're out. Sometimes in very uncomfortable, strange positions. But it's my body saying, you got to take a rest there, Chief. You got to take a rest. Yeah, I have done the melatonin. I think part of the problem is that I know that I have to stay awake at certain hours of the night to be on the computer for work. And, you know, it sucks. It's tough. Especially when I don't get as much done during the day, when I have the puppy, which this week I decided to take time from myself to go do some stuff that I haven't been able to really do a whole lot of, you know. I've seen some really neat Tarzan vines in this place since I've been here. I remember when we were kids, there was this little swath of woods behind my parents' first house. And it's kind of a weird, interesting little pit. We had this little swath of woods behind the house, and there was we made a trail for our bikes. So we had like a bike track we could ride on, jumps and all that cool stuff. And then there were these two mounds. They were probably about, I don't know, 15 feet apart. And running in between them was like a swamp, creek swamp. And there was a Tarzan vine hanging from one of the trees that we used to swing from. And as we got older, you know, you got bigger, that vine got weaker because it was getting older also. My mom used to always tell us, like, don't you play in that swamp, especially in your school clothes. Wouldn't you know it? I remember swinging on that vine one day and that thing breaking when I was halfway over the swampy water and just splash in up to my belly button. I don't remember how mad she was, but I'm sure she was pretty mad. I'm sure she was pretty mad. I was a bit of a hellion. Used to take I rode my bike so much, like it was the first thing I wanted to do in the morning when I got up. I wanted to be up early before the sun came up, or right as it was coming up. I wanted to get outside and get on my bike. It was my favorite thing in the world. And I rode that thing as fast and as hard as you could, took it off jumps, did tricks, all that stuff. And I took so many diggers, man, so many diggers. My mom is not good with blood, and there were plenty of times where that poor lady was on the verge of passing out from injuries sustained while riding the bike or playing tackle football on the road. That was a good one. Oh wow, that's awesome. Your grandmother was an Ojibwe healer. That's really cool. Broken a few swinging vines and small tall trees that climb in the woods. Yeah, man. Absolutely. If you didn't break some vines, fall out of some trees, into some swamps, break some bones, get some stitches, stay dirty all the time, were you really a kid? Were you really a kid? I told you I hadn't been in the woods in years, in a very, very long time. And I missed them because I love the woods. I always have. It's so hard for me to look at the kids now in these generations, and they don't even have any reason to go out because they want to see something. They just pull a picture up on their phones. Sharon, I understand completely what you're saying about the paranormal. I just have such a insatiable appetite for the unknown. I do my research, and I first try to find out if there's been any kind of history of negative stuff, right? And if there hasn't, then I'm okay with going there. I won't go to any place that's got a history of negative encounters. That's a twist. That's a tree twist. And there's like mad houses right here too. But I'll stay away from any place that's negative. Do what I can to make sure that I'm protected while I'm there, when I leave. One of the most important things is knowing that you have power. So if you say, you know, you do not have the right to follow me home. I do not give you permission to attach yourself to me. I'm telling you to stay away in the name of Jesus Christ. It's like a rule that most things negative have to stay away. Even most demonic stuff, although there are some that won't. But, you know, it's chances you take when you're in this hobby. Oh, I know. But I also know that there are spirits of people, regular people, that are still here, that pose no threat. There's so much more to this world than, you know, meets the eye, especially our eyes that can only see a very minimal spectrum. My mother's not a big believer in much of this stuff, although I think she's becoming one now. But my grandmother came to her, my great-grandmother came to her after she passed away and let her know that she was okay. For my mom to say that, I mean, I knew that it had to be true. And I've had weird experiences with stuff. Ooh, there goes that ankle. There it goes. Snap like a twig. There are multiple layers to the spiritual realm. There are demonic, there are negative, which are not demonic, they're just negative. Demons are a whole different story. That's like the ultimate like super boss of bad stuff when it comes to the spiritual realm. Then you know, the malevolent stuff, and then you have normal human spirits that are intelligent spirits, and then you have residual hauntings, which is basically like an imprint of energy in a place that plays over and over again, kind of like a record on repeat. So like an example would be in Gettysburg, because those gentlemen would march over and over. You know, they'd get up, they'd march over and over around that field, through the field, whatever it was. They left an imprint there of their energy. And so people who live there will see soldiers marching through their, you know, backyard. a whole line of them. You know, sometimes they're easier to see than others. Sometimes you can see right through them. But that's what a residual haunting is. You could say hello to them. They're not going to respond. This is why when Mike Patterson comes on the show and he talks about Sasquatch being the masters of energy, that right there, a residual haunting, is a perfect example of just one of the things that our energy can do, even when we're not in this meat suit anymore, as Mike calls it. And generally, usually, when you go to places that have paranormal activity, it's pretty easy to tell if something negative's around. Well, I mean, maybe not for everybody. I would say it is for me. I think maybe because I am sensitive to certain energies, mostly animals. Just I can almost always pick up on what an animal is feeling and what it's going through. And I've had that super connection to them since I was a kid. But I think some of that can cross over to other areas. I had the psychic that I used to see tell me, you know, if you're sensitive to one thing, you're sensitive to it all. Sometimes you just have to figure out how to connect to the other stuff. Oh, doctors ain't helping me. I ain't got no insurance right now. But maybe, we'll see. Trying to get it. You take that phone in with you. What kind of question is that? Shame on you. I was on the phone earlier with our buddy Fresh. When I was in Walmart. That was a fun conversation. I had him on speaker. You can imagine what people around me were doing. Oh, God. I love that guy. He's so awesome. He's so awesome. He's having a tough go with some stuff right now. So if you at all have the time in your day to send some love his way, some light, some positive energy, some prayers, meditate for him, whatever it is, please do so. He's a good egg. He is a good egg. Carson. Oh, I love you. I love you. Appreciate that. It's funny, man. I do the same thing, though. Like, when I'm doing stuff, I have people that I watch and listen to on a regular basis. Me and Janelle were talking earlier about Doug Hychak. Guy is possibly the most interesting man in the world. He literally could talk to you about paint drying, and I promise you, you'd be glued to it. So I sneak an earbud in and listen, you know, when I'm doing other stuff. It's kind of a weird little foundation. Here you go. That's called Butt Crack Rock. It's very famous. Historical site. My mama got me a Bigfoot tee for Christmas. See, being here, I don't feel any kind of heaviness, any kind of bad juju. And I do every time that I go to Patchogue State Forest, the Big Void. Every time I'm there, I feel that heaviness. I feel creeped out. I always feel like there's that hand reaching out for the back of my neck, and it's just a centimeter away, and you can get that tingly feeling. I always feel like something's behind me watching me. It's always when I'm snapping around real quick and stopping. Al tells me that I need to listen to that, and that's probably not the best place for me. He doesn't even believe that those tracks are from Bigfoot or Sasquatch. He thinks they're from something else, more malevolent, a Gugway or something like that, trying to lure you in. But you know, it's weird because it's a place that people are all the time. Every time I go there, there's people hiking with their dogs, you know, so you can imagine it can't be that bad. Hey Dana, hey Cryptics with Bobby, what's going on? I watched your video the other day. Doing good stuff. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Isn't that such a great sound? Such a great sound. You're welcome, darling. If you guys aren't subscribed to Bobby's channel, please go subscribe. Please go support Bobby and her channel. She's doing good stuff over there. She's just getting started, but she's doing great stuff. And she's our kind of people. Very, very kind. Very kind. Has a good heart. Nature is amazing. Yep. This is why God didn't make me rich, you know. Because if I was rich, I'd probably be like, all right, so I need a babbling brook running through the center of my house. I need a giant Bigfoot nest and a small swath of forest instead of a kitchen. But I always wonder too why some people get given all this money, and I like, I think about it, man. I don't have money, and almost every time well, I don't want to say it because then it just sounds shitty. But well, I don't know. Why wouldn't it be given to people who would be doing good things with it, who would be donating it, sharing it? Because who the hell needs $100 million? Who needs $1 billion? I mean, that's insanity. It's insanity. Bernie, I'd want to be rich enough to have a Bigfoot nest and a kitchen. Oh, all right. That's yeah. Never thought about that. Just figured, one or the other. Maybe put a fire pit near it. And you can cook in the fire pit. You ready for this? This is ankle breaking territory right here. Here we go. Don't watch if you're squeamish, because I bet you anything I'm rolling this thing at least twice on this hill. Oh, all right. Maybe not. Maybe not. See, the birds are singing. It's like a spring day out here. Outdoor fireplace would be definitely cool. I guess this way. Just want to say it was a great view with Mike last night. Awesome. Thank you, Bigfoot, Littlefoot. I really appreciate that. Yeah, let me tell you something. Mike's amazing. He's a wonderful guy. He's a great human being. He's so passionate about this topic. And whether anyone believes him or not, one thing you can't ever take away is that he's out there doing it. He's out there, putting the effort and the work in the freezing cold Canadian winters. And I think he's right about you only have a very limited knowledge unless you're having continuing, ongoing activity with the same group of Sasquatch. Because then you get to see patterns emerge. Then you get to collect data that you don't get with just one sighting or one encounter in the woods, in a place you went and just happened to stumble upon something or something showed itself. So So, yeah, my job's easy. My job's, I don't, I'm such a small part of what this channel's about. My job is simple. I go in there, I ask a couple questions, I give, my feelings or outlook on some things, share my curiosity, and then just let the guest go. When you have a guest like Mike, I just sit back, man. I just sit back and enjoy. Matter of fact, I have not yet had a guest that hasn't been great. I mean, everyone's been so fantastic that I just chill. I just get to chill. I'm watching just like you. The only thing that's just a little bit cooler is that I'm talking to people that I have admired for a long time. I've followed for a long time. I've seen them. There goes the ankle. That was not good. That was a bad one. Oh, God. Hoo, hoo, hoo. Oh, mama. Now I gotta cross a stream. Come on. No, this is bad news. Ow. Ow, ow, ow. Yeah, so I get to talk to people and communicate with people that I'm a fan of, that I watched on documentary films and TV shows and read their books and all that stuff. And that is such a cool part to me. That's so fun. I can't help but fanboy out sometimes. The first time I interviewed Mike, I was a nervous wreck because I just had so many things I wanted to ask, and I could not organize my thoughts because I couldn't believe I was talking to him. But it's cool. I mean, I would have never thought they are cutting edge modern researchers, absolutely. Wow, Bernie, thank you. Wow, that's very, very kind of you. That's a very, very awesome compliment. I don't even know what to say. Thank you. I'm not a pro at this. I never did anything like this before. This looks treacherous. So it's all new to me. I just kind of went back when I first started the channel and watched interviews of people that, interviewers that I admire. And then watched even interviews with people I didn't know who were interviewing people that I wanted to listen to. And I am not getting through this mess. There's no way. How the hell? This is the swamp where Artex died in the Never-Ending Story. And what I did was I just took some notes, man, some simple notes, nothing crazy, you know. But I remember watching this one video. I'm not going to say any names. It wasn't anybody from our community. It was a professional, I guess someone you could consider a professional interviewer, right? Journalist, whatever. Somebody who's making a ton of money off of their YouTube channel. Let's just say that. And they interview these people and they ask them questions and they interrupt them like constantly. They don't even get to answer any of the questions. And it's like, I'm sitting there getting frustrated because I'm going, man, I want to know what they have to say. And you just won't shut up. It's not about me. It's about them. I want to hear them. And I think that's probably what. Oh, yep, that was big mud. Big mud. I think that's probably what makes it easy, right? I want to hear them. I want to know what they got to say. You got 2 ears and 1 mouth. So you can listen twice as much as you yap. Big prickers. Yep. Big prickers. What is this? Why is this marked as a trail? This is terrible. Should have taken the senior trail. I do love all the rocky outcroppings though. I think that's pretty cool. What's up, overlooked youth? Yo! I will definitely give a tree knock when I can find a spot that I can do it from safely and a stick that'll work. These are all rotted. And this is all a disaster to walk right now. Oh, ow, 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 ow. About to jump straight into some prickers too. Okay. All right, I think we're past the worst of it. See if I can't find a stick. Yeah, those reporters do. They definitely do. Thank you, Nathan. Appreciate that. The trail less traveled. Yeah, who are you telling? Oh, I know, Bobby. I get so much crap for not having good boots. I know. It's difficult. I have plantar fasciitis, tendonitis. So anything with a really hard sole makes it way worse at the end of the day. And a lot of boots, most boots have really tough soles. I think I just got to find the right braces to wear. Or at least one brace for... Nope. I need hardwood, real hardwood. tree. Man, come on. Can we stop with the wet? Can we stop with the water? I mean, really. Not hearing nothing. This looks like an interesting spot. Fire pit way out here in the middle of the trail. Who made the stone wall? Oh gosh, I have no idea. This is old stuff, man. All this is old. These woods are old. These are from old, probably originally settlements. I mean, when you're in New England, there's stone walls all over the place in the woods. And all of them are very old. It's generally how they separated colonial settlements, old farming property. Kind of gives you an idea of how old it is, because this is a full forest now. This place is more known, for you guys who showed up a little later, this place is more known for paranormal activity than it is Sasquatch activity. But I said it before, although there was as I say that, I'm looking at a twist that is clearly a twist and a half. Look at this thing, man. Look at this. Look at that. There was a sighting not but 10 miles from here. A few years back. 10 miles is nothing. These guys probably run 10 miles and yeah, brah, you like it, man? Got it at the Army Navy store. Wondering if maybe I should plop for a minute. Pull out the EMF and the voice recorder. What do you think? Okay, just people. Just peeps. Perfect for a slingshot when you were a kid. Check that out. All right, let's take it out. Let's take out the tri-field. Take out the tri-field and the voice recorder. Usually baseline between 0.2 and 0.5. Generally what I find. Oh, what was that? What was that jump? Did you see that jump to 1.2 there for a second? Damn it, I got a glare. Yeah, I'm not getting any readings really. Oh, come on. Nothing. Nothing. All right, so let's move up a little. Move up a little. What I need to do is I need to get one of those like tactical vests so that I can put the recorder in it in one of the pockets on the front of the vest and just have it record the whole time. Another little twist. I wonder how hard it is to twist one of even these branches around. I mean, that's... Alright, well, not too hard, but weird though that I twisted it and it breaks completely. Apologies for just hurting that tree. Man, I picked the stupid path. I picked the worst path for a person with bad ankles. Ooh. Here we go again. Back in the swamp. I feel like at any moment I'm gonna stumble upon one of these giant rocks is gonna lift up out of the ground with me on top of it, and it's gonna be a giant tortoise with a cold. If anyone has any idea what I just referenced, please put it in the comments. I heard that. Oh, dog. Dog. Again, dog. Ow, ow, ow. Shut up, dog. Nobody wants to hear you. Are there any dream guests you would like to interview on your streams? Oh man, yeah, there sure are. Wow. So I would love to interview Les Stroud. I think Les is a super interesting guy. He's a guy who doesn't just go with the popular the popular answers, the popular feelings about things. Les, to me, is a guy who's got integrity. And I think his Bigfoot series, that docu-series, was done so well. I think it was awesome that he admitted to having experiences while filming Survivor Man that made him say, like, there's something going on here. Also think that it was awesome that he went out with standing. I don't know what my feelings are on Todd. Todd's a very polarizing guy. Todd's very zealous about this. I think sometimes a little overzealous, and that gets him in trouble. I don't, the pictures that were in that show, I don't know. I don't buy it. But here's the thing. That guy goes out there by himself all the time in one of the most active areas in the world. Nordegg is like, it's been known to be one of the most active areas for Sasquatch activity, at least on this continent. And he's out there constantly by himself. He brings people with him, regular people, and some people who swear to God they've had crazy experiences to the point that they said they'll never go back, that they were that terrified. So while I don't believe those pictures, I do believe real stuff happens out there, and I'm sure real stuff happens to him. I don't know. I wasn't there when those pictures were taken or created, so I can only go by how I feel. I'm not sure. And that's another reason why I'd love to interview Todd Standing. Yep, David Paulides would be one for sure. Yeah, Williams, and another good one for sure. Yeah, it's a really good one. So I'm just going to say this right now, because I want you guys to help me put it out into the world. I've already taken the first step in trying to get Les on the show. I have somebody helping me, somebody who knows Les personally, seems to think that it won't be a problem, just depends on his schedule. So we'll see what happens, but the first step's already been taken. You know, my whole thing is, here's the deal. Les obviously is a TV star. He's had very successful show on TV, very successful docuseries on TV. I'm a guy with 824 subscribers on YouTube, but I believe in my ability to talk to anybody. I believe in my ability to relate to anybody. We're all human beings, right? And that's it. That's where it starts and ends. We're the same. If I didn't believe in myself, then what am I doing here? Sometimes I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just winging it. But I believe in the fact that I can do this, and he's just like you and me. So why not aim for the moon? Maybe you'll land on a star. So Les is a big one. I'd love to interview Todd for many, many reasons. I'd love to go out with Todd. That would be incredible. And really see what's going on out there. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Who else? I've already been in contact with Meldrum. Hopefully that happens. He said after the first of the year, because he was really busy with conferences and whatnot. How you guys doing? So hopefully that happens sometime after the first of the year. I mean, you know, it's Meldrum. He's got a whole lot going on. Oh no. I left my cord in the car. Crap. Oh crap. My video is probably gonna die before I get out of here. I'm at 18% and I have the portable battery, but I forgot the cord to connect to the phone. So, que sera, sera. Who else? Man, Bernie, that's exactly how I feel. Exactly how I feel, yes. He gets overzealous. He embellishes things that he doesn't need to. He doesn't need to. I 150% believe that that guy has experiences out there. I see the structures that are in those trees in that forest, and I know in my gut that those are not made by humans. Some of them are so big and so damn just crazy. I also see the footprint impressions, and you know, you see Todd or Meldrum, who weighs 230 pounds, jump up and try to smash their foot into the ground and make it as deep as those impressions. They don't get anywhere near that. So he embellishes and he hurts himself. But yeah, I agree. I don't think he needs to do it. I think what happens is he's so passionate about it. He wants everyone to believe, and he wants to protect them at all costs. I think that's what happens. So I'd love to interview him. Jevning for sure. I'd love to interview Bigfoot Tony. Thinker Thunker. Let's see. Matter of fact, I'm somebody who I really, really like a lot. Hi, Sonia. How are you, sweetheart? He's very tough. Yeah, it's a tough interview, but you know, guess what? We can try. That's all you can do. You can try. I'm talking to Shane Corson of the Olympic Project, somebody who I have a ton of respect for. I think those guys are doing incredible boots on the ground work. Incredible. The stuff that they're finding over there is really potentially game-changing things. You know, nesting sites on the side of a mountain with a almost 90-degree slope. You know, very difficult for people to get to. Gives them the option of retreating back up over the ridge or down the side, which is so military. So yeah, that's another one. Gosh, I'm trying to think. I know there's more, and I just can't even think right now. Who do you guys want to see? That's the question. Who do you all want to see? Who would you like to have on the show? Is there anyone that you'd want to have back on the show that we already did? Obviously, I had Mark and Mike back on. Those two guys, we have a great rapport. I think. Me and Mark bounce off each other so well. And I say this humbly, like, trust me, I don't think I'm any hot shit. But I do think that me and Mark bounce well off each other. I love his passion for this. I love his ability to articulate things so well and to be so descriptive, but also tell you in a way that anybody can understand what he's saying. I think that's super important. So, is there anybody that Donnie is definitely coming back. I just talked to him the other day. Kreider. Oh yeah, Kreider, definitely. Yep. I don't know them. I don't know Anglo Sasquatch. I want to. So Chris Reinhardt, good friend, just had Nathan Rio on his show the other day, and I am extremely jealous. I mean, like when he told me, we were talking on the phone the other day, and he was like, or like a week or two ago, and he was like, "Yeah, I got Nathan coming on the show." I'm like, "Nathan who?" He said Nathan Rio, and I about peed myself. I was like, "You have what?" Nathan was so good, man. Nathan was so good. That was one of the best channels for Sasquatch that there ever was on YouTube. That guy was awesome. Still is awesome. And I commend him for everything he's done in his life, his personal life. You know, we're humans. We all have our demons. Things happen. I freely talk about the fact that I'm in recovery. So I commend that guy. I'd love to be able to shake his hand someday, but I would love to have him on my show. I really think very highly of him. I really do. He's a disruptor, man. He's a disruptor. Yes, yes, yes. The Monument Wallow video. Yep. Absolutely. So I would love to get him on. Matter of fact, maybe I should talk to Chris. I know Nathan's very guarded about things now. I know he's not in the community anymore. Obviously, like, I would be nothing but respectful and gentle and, you know, it would just be an honor for me to be able to talk to him. So who else? Bigfoot Tony, Thinker Thunker, Nathan Rio, Shane Corson. Who else do you guys want? I don't know Cryptid World Fresh. And I don't know Anglo Sasquatch either. What's up, Connor? What's up? That's somebody who I want to have on the show, and every time I mention it when he's in the chat, he ignores me. I paint him into a corner in front of everybody. Igor Burtsev. Are you guys familiar with Dr. Igor Burtsev? Yep, Lynn Smith's another very good one. Oh, we're at 10% right now, guys, and I do not know how far I am from the car. I think I'm pretty far, though. I took the long route. Igor's done amazing work. Me and Igor talk regularly. The problem Igor is, like, he's so immersed in his work. Plus, he has a very hard time. He's always going to conferences, trying to get funding. speaking, all that stuff. And then, you know, when you live where he lives, he's got a hard time with certain social media stuff, if you know what I mean. Sisu! Bernard! Apparently that dog's name is either Cecil or Bernard. There's a lot of people, man. I would love to have on, not just researchers. I want to have people who have encounters on, right? Like, do you remember the gentleman who Kerry interviewed on one of the first Odyssey documentaries, Woodburger Farm, Rick Wells? One of my favorite episodes. I would love to talk to Rick. Seems like such a nice guy. Matter of fact, oh man, I'm an idiot. Barry Webster from okay, we're close to the car. Hopefully I get back before this dies. Barry Webster from Res Squatching, another one, and I talked to him and was supposed to call him back, and then had all kinds of stuff happen. That was when the dog had to go to the emergency vet twice, and then I forgot to call him back, and now he probably thinks I'm a jerk. Let's have a listeners, members encounter experience. Call in once a month. The problem is getting people to talk. I have people message me, email me, and tell me that they have encounters, you know, but they're scared to share it with anybody. They're scared to talk about it on the air. They're scared to show their face, which is fine. I get it. And I've even offered to keep them blacked out, but, you know, I understand. Hey guys, how are you?
Friendly.
Yeah, looks it.
Ellie, say hi.
Hi.
Ellie, say hi.
Hello.
Ellie, say hi.
Hello. No, you don't like me? Hey. No.
Probably the beard.
Have a good one, guys. She's too excited, that's why. That's weird. Usually dogs come right up to me. So when you say that, Fresh, you mean people call in, share their encounter type of thing? Yeah, she was a little mental. Scott would be a great guest. The guys from Res are great, man. I want... Oh, Bernie, you got some great questions. Bigfoot Mapping Project, yeah, that's another one. I have that app on my phone. Look at it daily. Anything that has surprised or learned or given me concern. I think, I think just learning more about the other things that aren't Sasquatch that are out here. The other things that are able to mimic, that are able to lure and then do bad things. I think those are the things that freak me out a bit. I think I was surprised learning about what Mark's finding out about the achromatic skin. I think that was a revelation. Also, the size of the ones down there in Florida, because if you go by, gosh, what's the name of that rule? That nature's law that says that the colder the environment, the larger the creatures. You would think that in Florida they'd be smaller, and for the most part, over the years, the reports have been on the smaller side in Louisiana, Alabama, Georgia, for the most part. But these things that Mark's catching down there are just massive. I mean, massive on a different level, on some kind of like otherworldly level. That one that I saw in that video that he posted where his friend was walking through that field and that thing was out in the bushes, that creature was out in the bushes and it was looking at his friend, and his friend had no idea it was there. It was so big, it looked like it could have taken a bite of him and bit him directly in half at the waist. I mean, that's how large that thing looked to me. Hold on, let me get this plugged in because we're about to die. And we're really having a good chat. Boom. 2%. All right. Linking with specific creatures in other countries and run a show once a month, kind of working with them for the common cause, and it's a great idea. Bergman's rule, that's it. Thank you, Carson. I knew when I heard it, I would know it, but Bergman's rule, yeah. Given the other things that may be out there, is there any protocol how to protect yourself spiritually? Sadly, and I hate to say this, no. I do generally say a short, quick prayer before I go into the woods, but I need to do more. I know I need to do some stuff with the crystals that people keep telling me about. I don't, and I know I need to. It's really bad. Go ahead, Caucasian. What's your question? Mark Barton. Yeah. Whew. That's a tough one, Bernie. I mean, I really can't and don't want to say anything. Let's just say that sometimes life is tough. People go through things, right? We all have stuff that happens, and we deal with it in different ways. I know it's not a lot, but there's a reason why I'm not saying a lot, but just try to dig into that a little. Let's see. Suppose while you're searching for Bigfoot, you find proof of gnomes. Who do you call, and does it change your mind? Change my mind on what? My belief in Bigfoot? Wouldn't change my mind on Bigfoot. No, I already know that that's real. Um, Irish folklore speaks of fairies and leprechauns and gnomes, um, and it's spoken about not as a joke, not as a fable, not as a fairy tale. They are very real. And they're not the only ones who have them in their folklore. I am a firm believer that every piece of legend, myth, and folklore starts with some truth. I believe it. I believe it. Find a metaphysical store. They too. Yeah, there is one very close by. I know. I got to go there. Maybe I'll go there tomorrow. Yeah, Bernie. It's all I could say, buddy. You know, I mean, again, no judgment, none. Because, just because, you know. Thank you, Fresh. I appreciate that. Thank you, Caucasian. Trolls in Scandinavian lore, absolutely. I mean, they are everywhere. Like, in so much lore across the world. You have trolls, you have fairies, you have leprechauns, you have gnomes, you have little people. So, yeah, I believe 100%. Matter of fact, who was on the show? It was Doug, right? Doug that told the story about his... Was it Doug? Or was it Mark the first time? Who was like, you know, I didn't believe in it at all until somebody that he knows very well and trusts implicitly told him that when he was driving down the highway, he had a fairy following him outside of his driver's window, keeping up with him as he's driving down the road. But it wasn't flying like Superman. It was like standing straight up and down, flying like that, looking in his window. And Mark was like, or whoever, well, I think it was Mark, I don't know, Mark or Doug, I think it was Mark. Yeah, Doug talked about the large humanoid with wings that him and his wife saw. You know, when you're talking to people like that, and you know that you trust them 100%, it's hard to dismiss those things. When Doug Hychek comes on the show and he says, I saw an 8-foot-tall humanoid with wings swoop down at the car, and my wife saw it too. I mean, what do you do? What do you do with that? This is a guy who literally was the first person to film and find a giant squid in its natural habitat. That's no small feat. That is like, that's world-shaking stuff, you know? That's... Scientific community said these things weren't real, and he's like, yeah, hold my beer. So what do? For me, I gotta believe him. I think I live in the same city as Doug H. from a show I've seen hosted by Scott Walter. Oh, maybe. I don't know what city he lives in. I know he's told me, but I don't remember. I gotta get back at him. I gotta get back at him. Agree with Bernie. Agree with Bernie. Ugh. Now, I've got to make one of my bi-weekly trips to the pet store. I don't know if you guys hear me talking on here about, you know, the cats, the outdoor cats that I feed. That we had a kitten coming around really early in the morning for a couple months, and I was trying to build up trust so I could get it and save it and help it. On the community page for our town on Facebook, somebody posted a picture of her. She finally got to the point where she was cold enough that she was probably too cold and too scared to be outside, and she trusted somebody enough and was like, please help me, and went inside their house. So I'm super, super, super happy about that, because I am a super animal lover. Yeah, the Hijack interview was incredible. That guy is the most interesting guy I've ever talked to in my life, by far. He's just so incredibly well-traveled and intelligent, and oh, it's crazy. So many incidents witnessed by all of us, we have labeled stories only because we have not established credibility within society. Yeah? How can you actually protect yourself against such power? I'd like to know that, when nothing you can own will help you in said situation. Well, that's between you and Bernie. Bernie, any relation to a guy from Boston named Jason Gannon? Ex-police officer, MMA fighter. Or perhaps an Irish fellow's heading in Sounds like we have a lot in common. Are you an MMA fan? Don't get me started. I'll go off on a tangent. We had this happen the other day at the end of a live. Someone brought up MMA, and that was it. All the ladies left. They were done with the live. Oh, the police part. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. Are you a police officer? Were you? And where? Oh wow, right on. NYPD. Good for you, man. That's awesome. Did you know that guy, that famous crooked cop, Michael Dowd? Did you know him at all? I know it's a big city, lots of precincts, but I'm just curious. I don't even know when you were part of. Thanks, Carson, buddy. Catch you later, man. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. Hey, Frankie. Oh, fresh. Yeah, that's bad. Let's not talk about it right now. It is 100%. It's getting sorted this coming week. Oh yeah, he was absolutely bad news. I mean, that's kind of it. I just fascinating. I don't support it, but I find it fascinating. I'd love to sit down with him and talk to him and ask him some questions. But I mean, the same could be said for a lot of things. I find a lot of things fascinating. There's a lot of people I'd love to sit down and talk to who have nothing to do with the Bigfoot community and be able to ask questions. I didn't know how much I enjoyed this type of thing until I started doing it. It's really fun to be able to get to know people for that short time, to dig inside people's heads and psyches a little bit, and it's just really fun. I think when you have people like that who've been a part of something that was so destructive, it's hard to not want to know more, you know? I know that the climate was different then than it is now. I know that corruption was a real thing at certain times, and that has nothing. That's not just the NYPD thing. That was in all sorts of different political parties or law enforcement or whatever. It was just different times, man. Different times. Cowboys, man. It's cowboys. Oh, definitely not. He wouldn't last a week doing that shit now, man. It wouldn't happen. There's number one. There's too many ways for him to be tracked, right? Where he's going, what he's doing, GPS monitoring on vehicles, cell phones, cameras, and I think people now are more apt to speak up, where when just a little bit before him the corruption was so bad at one point, again, not just there, but in many police departments and many government offices, people were afraid to speak out, you know? They didn't know who was their friend and who was their enemy. I think now it's much different than that. One detective, I think he worked for the NYPD, really famous. Was it Bo Dietl? Is that his name? That must have been one crazy job, though, Bern. Those two guys who played a mobster in Goodfellas was actually working with the mob. Those egomaniac type of guys. I get it. I can understand why you wouldn't be. Fast. I'm in a Prius. I can't drive fast.
I think I'll watch that until
Pass out.
I won't see Midnight.
I haven't seen him
No.
yet. Oh, you haven't seen him?
Nope.
He's a cute little bugger. I know.
He loves
250
people.
points, Marisa.
Sure.
They won't get you down on 3.
He loves. Hey, still. I lost the store. I don't know if you could see my whole shopping experience. Sorry, guys. Bad. I get no service in the pet store. None. Anyway, I'm about to be home. I gotta get all my stuff together to feed the kitties. Then I gotta get my stuff together to head to my brother's. So I'm gonna end this bad boy, but thank you again for being here, guys. You know the deal. I love you all. You're amazing. Probably be back tomorrow, and I'll probably have my brother's dog with me, which should be fun. He's a trip. He's a big old goofy golden doodle who doesn't know anything but to love. He's my buddy. So Have a wonderful day. I love you guys. You're the best. Bernie, we need to interview you on the show about your time in the NYPD, man. We could do a special show just for you, NYPD tribute show. I'm sure you got stories for days, man. Stories for days. No, you're not. Don't apologize. You kidding me? Hey, man, listen. I love the Bigfoot stuff as much as anybody else, but it's fun to talk about other stuff too, man. It's interesting to me. Super interesting. That city is so big and so crazy. I can't even imagine what it was like being a cop in that city. I mean, it must have been insane at times. So no, please don't apologize, man. There's nothing. There's no wrong here, brother. There's no wrong here, unless it's mean, nasty, malicious. Otherwise, you're good, bro. Although you'd probably pull me over if you were still a cop and you knew I was talking on my live right now, holding the phone in my hand while I'm driving. Thankfully, you're retired. One thing I can promise is that I never gave Mark a hard time for being in the swamp. You talking about Zasky? Well said, Fresh. Well said. Greetings, Brown Dwarf. Although we're about to be done with the live, man. I'm sorry. Apologies. Oh, now I get it. Yeah, he's not a fan of him. They've given him a hard time quite a few times. I mean, I don't know if he got a ticket a bunch of times, but they've given him a hard time. But Mark's a pit bull, man. He's a pit bull. He's no nonsense. He goes after it. I'm sure he gives them guff too. So and I say that very lovingly. Oh my God, look at that red eye blinking at me. Look at it. Look at the red eye blinking at me off in the distance. It must have something in its eye. It keeps blinking over and over. Oh, I'm sure he's a handful, brother. I love him, respect him too. He's a friend. He's been great to me. And we talk about it. I told him that. I said, yeah, you're a pit bull, man. You're a bulldog. And he knows it. I forgot what Kerry said, what term he used to describe Mark, but it was, you know, it was one of those terms where he basically was saying he was a handful, and he said, you know, he says it's a term of endearment, but he's a handful. Mark knows it. Madman, yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. And he is. He knows it too. Yeah, you and Mark are very alike. That's the truth. He knows it. He's not afraid to say it. He's a great guy though, and he's very passionate about this stuff, which, you know, I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome. All right, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. I got a whole bunch of stuff I got to do. I'm sorry. I'd hang out with you all day if I could. I wish all you just lived right next door. It'd be so much fun. Imagine how much fun we'd have. Be like little kids again, forming our own gang in the neighborhood. Not like a gang, but you know, like a group of kids who hang out together. Please don't get the gang enforcement unit on me, Bernie. It's too bad. I do wish a lot of us lived near each other. I think we'd have a hell of a good time together. But it is what it is. And you are right. Wonderful way to end it. All great minds have a little insanity. Yes, sir. There's a fine line between genius and insane. A fine line. The gang unit was dissolved. It shouldn't be. Not with what's going on in that city. It's terrible, man. Now I'm going to talk. Now I'm not getting out of the car for a minute. It's terrible. The Crips and the GDs have been at war for, it really ramped up during COVID, but it's bad, man. It's really bad. Bodies dropping left and right, especially during COVID. It's just a shame. It's sad that, you know, James Dean was cool, right? Because he was a little edgy, you know, he was a little tough, but James Dean wasn't like bad, and they didn't promote him as being a bad person. What's wrong now is that they promote bad people as being cool, right? And it's easy for young kids to get enticed into certain lifestyles, especially when they grow up in broken homes and impoverished areas, and when that's all they're around every day. It's very difficult to break out of what the norm is around you. It's very difficult. Psychologically, it's been proven that it's so hard to do, especially as a kid or a teenager. But it's, you know, media is doing no help by promoting gang violence in like the music genre as being the cool thing to do. It'll get you one of two things. It'll get you dead, or it'll get you in prison, and that's it. And you'll be lucky if it's prison. It's just sad, man. It's just sad. See a lot of really talented young men and women, mostly men, who fall victim to it, could have had extraordinary lives because they were so talented, and then they just can't separate themselves, even when they get rich, where they could leave that life, and they don't. It's too bad, man. It's too bad. Music industry's bad, man. It's true. It's too much, man. I understand to a degree, like, listen, I'm not even gonna lie, I'm a rap fan. I love rap, but I'm not big on the new stuff. I like the old stuff. I like the 80s stuff. I like the 90s stuff. It's what I grew up on, and not all of it. Yeah, Tom's awesome. I've been listening to Tom for I don't know, about 5 years now. Tom is a ballsy SOB. He's awesome. I really enjoy Tom. Not everything, but most. But I'm a fan of rap music. I love hip hop. It's what I grew up on. And it's so much different. This drill stuff is just bad, man. It's so bad. It was one thing when people were telling stories, right? And then they would get in an interview and they would say, you know, I'm telling my story so other people understand that this is where we come from, but you don't have to live this way. It's no way to live. That was the difference. These guys would make something of themselves. They would leave that life, and then they would promote, when they get the opportunity, saying, don't do these things, right? Make music, play sports, study more, whatever it is. Nowadays, these guys get rich, they get an interview, and they're still up there throwing gang signs talking about, you know, I'm a GDK, I'm a gangster disciple killer, I'm a Crip killer, I'm a blood killer, I'm a this, I'm a that. They're literally saying, like, hey, it's cool to be a murderer. It's cool to be violent. It's too bad. Trapping. Yep, trapping. Look up the drill rap too, man. That drill rap scene is just nasty. Chicago, and in Brooklyn, especially in New York, the Cho and the Wu are subsets of Crips and gangster disciples that are after each other, and a ton of them are in the music industry promoting this gang war. It's just nasty stuff, man. It's too bad. But I do love to see, like, the Crips are, yeah, they're part of the Wu. The Crips are part of the Wu. Yep, that's right. And the Cho are gangster disciples. There's actually Bloods who are part of the Wu. The Wu is a subset of Crips and Bloods in Brooklyn, New York, that have come together against the gangster disciples. It's multiple different sets of Crips and some Bloods that are at war with the gangster disciples. There's a guy on YouTube. He goes by the name of Trap Lore Ross. He does videos on these gangs and the music industry stuff, and he does a really, really good job. He's pretty funny too. He's an English guy, actually. He's an English bloke, but he does really great videos on it, talking about it, and, you know, about how what the climate is, who's involved, what's all happened, and, you know, just how terrible it all is. But it's really, really informative stuff. I'm a fan of 80s and 90s rap. I love Nas. Nas is probably my favorite rapper ever. Wu-Tang Clan, Biggie, Jay-Z, Tribe Called Quest, Rakim, Gangstar, that stuff. I love when I see a guy like Nas who grew up in a terrible area and he got, he changed his life, and now he's a guy, he's in his 40s who's become so successful because he decided to do smart things, and then he got his first Grammy finally. I mean, those are the stories, right? That's what you want to hear. I don't want to hear the story about the guy who was in this terrible environment. Yeah, I get it, Mark. I totally get it. You're right. You're right. Agreed. Agreed. Yep. I'm guilty of watching some of them. Mostly because I was interested in this one story. One story about this one rapper from New York who got caught in a gang beef that he had nothing to do with, and then you know how YouTube is, it just drags you down this rabbit hole. But I can't deny that the guy doesn't do really informative stuff, but I get it, man. You're right. Yeah, right on, Brown Dwarf. Hey, you and Fresh have something in common. Fresh is a DJ too, old school scratch DJ, man, my favorite kind. DJ Premier is my favorite DJ ever. I got a guy who grew up here that I know who's a rapper, underground rapper. His name's Apathy. Real like old school hip hop head, But it's the stories like Nas and Jay-Z where these guys made something of themselves. They dragged themselves out of those situations, and they live the American dream now. That's what I want to hear. I don't want to hear the stories about the guys who continue to do the same thing and then they end up dead. It's the happy ending. That's what you want. That's what we all want. I hate that anybody has to live in an environment like that. It's just sad. It's really sad. And racism is a real thing. It's a real thing. All right, now I'm getting out of here. I can get me talking on all kinds of subjects. All right, I'm going, guys. I'll talk to you. I'll see you probably tomorrow on another one. Have a good night.